Right, we are ready to start, friends. Uh, Good evening, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to this session. And this is on behalf of Cygnia Healthcare. We are really doing this especially for all the frontline caregivers, understanding that how difficult these timings are, and maybe you don't have options of sharing and finding answers to many of the questions that you may be going through at this time. We know that none of us have encountered such crisis in our life. So just to ease out that, I have very specially invited Ms. Nirupama Subramnian. May I request Nirupama to come on the screen, please? Good evening, Nirupama. Thank you so much for being here. And friends, that is Madam Nirupama Subramnian. I have known her, I think, close to 1 year. And she is very, very special person. She's a coach. She's a leadership development guru. She facilitates corporates, executives to grow, and she also is running NGO, Glow. That is for development of women. And then there is My Daughter is Precious. That's her NGO. Glow is the company. And so she has got very special interest in developing women, and of course their NGO supports young girls to become self-dependent. So this is not just during COVID, and they had been doing it for a long time. And I know that it is not pertinent to my company, but I happen to be the president of association. So Nirupama had been instrumental in getting this all the chocolates that we have given to Annie member hospitals. She's the one who put me in touch with that company. So Nirupama, thank you so much for coming to our show, and I'm very sure the people who are here, they are going to make it more interactive. I already told them that whatever question they have, they can put it in the chat box. I'll keep a watch on the chat box, and or you can unmute and ask Nirupama directly also. So if it is interactive, I think Nirupama is going to be better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the way you feel. You start feeling better. So before I hand over this thing, I should tell you I did one coping mechanism today for my stress. I wore my favorite color sari, and I got completely tayar for the session. I could have done with less, but I said no, I have an opportunity, so let me get ready like I would have done otherwise. So that is one thing I did, and I'm feeling very good about it. Definitely, I feel very, very happy when nurses and other frontline caregivers, they come here on the Zoom platform to Cygnia Healthcare. I feel good that we are doing something great for them. So let me stop my talking, and I will hand over the podium to Nirupama Subramnian. And Nirupama, once again, thank you so much for consenting to do this session for all our frontline caregivers. And I'm really hoping they will make it more interactive by asking questions. That's my only request to everyone. I have no doubt that Nirmava will give you a lot of tips and other things to manage. But if you say, okay, you are telling me to do this, but I think it's not working, so you should be able to ask those questions. Then I think you can go away with more uh, resilience, because idea is to make you a bit more resilient than when you came here, right? Okay, thank you so much to all the participants who are here, and we are already live on the Facebook also. So all the friends in the Facebook also, hello and welcome to this session. And Nirupama, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tankam. Thank you. I want to say it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with all of you. And thank you for inviting me. And I know as caregivers, as frontline workers, the contribution that all of you are doing is absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine what some of you will be going through. So this is a very, shall I say, a small gesture on part of Glow, my organization, and me personally to serve you and support you in some way. So I also consider it my honor to be here and speaking to you about this. And I also am very grateful that I have this opportunity to do something in an area which I enjoy. As a coach, as a facilitator, this is what I do. And I'm very happy to be sharing some of the things that have worked for me, that have worked for a lot of people in the past year in terms of resilience and taking care of ourselves. And in fact, I would like to start today not with me talking, but I would like to start with a simple practice, right? And Tankam, I know you've said being interactive is important. So I want to start right away by inviting you all together to participate in this exercise. This is a simple exercise which I call grounding and centering. And it is also a resilience practice because I know many of you must have had a long day. It's late in the evening. I expect many of you are exhausted, but the fact that you have shown up and you've come here means that you are investing in your self-care. And I want to share with you this practice, which will help us to relax, ground, and center. Is that okay? We'll start with a simple practice. So I'm going to invite all of you to do this. I will give you instructions. It's a very simple 2 to 3 minute practice. And this is also a tip that you can take back and use anytime when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling shaky, when you've got some bad news, or when you feel that you can't think straight and you're too distracted. This is a practice which I hope will be of use to you. And today we will use this to also bring ourselves into this session. So please sit comfortably wherever you are. Ideally, keep your feet on the ground. Right? This is a grounding exercise. We want to draw energy from the ground, from the earth. We call her Mother Earth, who gives us energy. So drawing energy from the ground. So we ground and settle ourselves. Make sure your back is straight. Very often, our posture prevents the energy from flowing clearly. So keep a straight back. Shoulders are back, not stiff, just relax. You can take your palms and put them on your lap and just sit. And now I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Right? Please make sure that you have these 1.5 to 2 hours for yourself and nobody's going to disturb you. So just gently close your eyes. And this is an invitation to ground and center ourselves. So just take your attention and awareness to your breath. The breath has become such a valuable and precious commodity today. The oxygen that we are taking in, something that we took for granted. Now I want you to bring your awareness just to your breathing. Notice how you inhale and notice how you exhale. Just feel the breath traveling in through your nose and traveling out through your nose again. Just become aware if there's any stress, tension, pain in any part of your body. And gently breathe into that part, allowing that part to completely relax. Remember, as you exhale, exhale out any negativity, stress, tension that you may be feeling. Just gently breathe it out. You can breathe it out through your nose or through your mouth. Just exhale and relax. Feeling the solid ground beneath you, the support of your chair. Know that you are supported by this world. Now be relaxed and present. You may notice some thoughts entering your mind. Just notice them as though you are watching trains in a station. Allow the thought to pass without climbing onto it. Just stand and observe your thoughts as they pass by without judgment, without attachment. You can keep these thoughts aside, park them somewhere, knowing you can always go back to that train, you can always go back to that issue later. These next 2 hours are completely for yourself, and give yourself permission to focus on yourself and your well being for the next 2 hours. Just bring the focus back to your breath, and for the next 5 to 10 seconds, just sit in silence, keeping the focus on your breath. Just be relaxed, present, and calm, and present to yourself and this session. Now, just bring a gentle smile to your face. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the session. So thank you. Thank you for participating in that. And I hope for some of you, you found that relaxing. This is, as I said, a simple exercise. Anytime you're stressed, just sit, feel your feet on the ground, and allow your breath to settle. So let me share with you what we're going to do today. The focus, as I said, is on resilience. So we will start by inviting some sharing. The first aspect of resilience is to clear, to discharge any emotions. So of course, we'd like you to ask questions, but this is also a safe, open space for sharing, for discharging any emotions. After that, I will be sharing a simple framework and a tool for resilience and inviting each one of you to work using that tool. And I will also be sharing some simple practices that you can do daily, which will not take you more than 5-10 minutes, but will give you this big immunity boost or energy boost in the morning or any time that you need it. So that's really going to be our focus today. So I'm also going to use some slides just for variety to get you a chance to see some things apart from just looking at me. So let me see whether a slideshow will work. If that's clear for you. Great. Okay, so
It's clear.
so
It is clear.
okay, great. So I know, as Tankam mentioned, all of you are, healthcare workers, providers, health providers of care to others. And these 2 hours are really for you to care for yourself. And if you remember, and you remember those days when you used to travel by flight, this is the instruction that we would all get, right? That as adults, we should put the mask on ourselves, take in our oxygen. And I know that has been in short supply. At least I live in Gurgaon, but it's a precious commodity. But it's important for us to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. And as healthcare providers, your health is also extremely important to you. So in the interest of self-care and also providing a release for our emotions, I'm going to just invite people to share the answer to this simple question: how are you feeling and what's on your mind? So how are you feeling and what's on your mind now? This is an open space, and I want to share that all feelings are fine. Very often in such situations, we think that we should not be feeling sad. We should not be feeling upset. We have so much to be grateful for. I shouldn't be complaining. There are a lot of shoulds. Right? And last time I was doing this resilience coaching, somebody actually told me, everybody in my family is alive, so I should not be feeling bad. But that itself is a very strong emotion of self-judgment. So I want to say all emotions are welcome. I've been feeling loss. I've been feeling upset as well. In fact, this morning I spoke with a lady who lost her husband this year to COVID, and she's also a cancer patient. And I was feeling very, touched by her courage, and I was also feeling a sense of loss on her behalf when I spoke to her, when I was coaching and speaking to her. So I think it's all feelings are fine, all feelings are important. And when we talk about how we are feeling, that itself is a way of building resilience, discharging that emotion and putting it to rest. So I'm going to invite any of you, whoever is willing and ready, maybe 3 to 4 of you, to just share how you're feeling and what's on your mind right now.
So I'm going to open
Yes.
the, session. I'm going to make the people, feel comfortable to share. So this is a frequent emotion that I feel. Okay. Two things, two very strong emotions. One, I feel guilty why I'm not in the hospital, not able to work. Number two, a feeling of, unnatural feeling. It's as though that you are in some other world, totally inside the house and doing things. So the strong emotion is that I feel that why am I safely sitting inside when so many of them are outside? So that's very strong. Sorry, but so I try to suppress it as much as I can because I cannot tell my family that I'm feeling like that. So I just started with that. So others can feel free to share, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Tankam. I hear you. And I also hear this deep desire you have to contribute and make a difference. So that is what I sense behind that guilt is your willingness to give, to offer something that you have to the world outside. So thank you very much for sharing and thank you for um, being so open with your feelings. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. I am Gauri here.
Good evening, Gauri. Good evening.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, presently I have with mixed emotions, ma'am. A kind of don't know what's going to happen because nothing we could kind of what tomorrow what is going to happen. Yesterday also like what happened in our hospital Fortis BG. I am in Fortis BG. On the road, 27 years old one man. He just came out for walking, and he got collapsed. He got collapsed, and actually our one MICU nurse only was going back to the hostel. She was trying to call people for help, but nobody was coming because all with fear now. Because human beings are with so much fear because why that person has collapsed and the COVID, whatever, all are having fear to go. Especially our particular nurse, her name is Manjusha, MICU nurse. She after 15 minutes of hers, she started giving CPR also. And one auto fellow somehow came and near only Fortis hospital. She just brought him to the Fortis hospital. By the time he declared dead only. So 27. After that, when they interviewed, he was only 27 years old and he came for a walk, but he got collapsed, and nobody was there to help. And human beings also know now very fear to go like that and all. But actually, it's COVID negative only. Like when after that, when they took test and all. So now I don't know. whether tomorrow, whether life is going to be there or not, kind of mixed emotions. So how we are going to be, nothing is we can think about it. Just live for present moment. So present moment, are we live like that, a kind of mixed emotions, and what we can do when, and I also realize I have to take care of myself better, so that we can help extend our helping and whatever is possible to the people. For that, I also wanted to attend all these things, so that let me improve myself. Why, like when Tanga Madam, I am actually thanks to Tanga Madam, because she has put it in our group. I was doing a course with Tanga Madam. So I just, I think 15 minutes late, suddenly I realized I started joining. And these all let us improve. So how can we improve ourselves emotionally strong, so that no, we will be able to, now the emotional strong only is very important, so that we can help people to whatever is possible. That is what a kind of mixed emotions is there. So every day praying God, and somehow things should go away. Like that, I have a feeling, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Gauri. Thank you for sharing that. And so I hear these mixed emotions. One hand, we are grateful that we are alive. There's also a sadness and helplessness with that, and fear across the world. And what I hear you say and is really looking at how you can contribute, how you can become strong during this time. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. And I hear I see some people have put in the chat, surely upset, helplessness, says Harita, and stress. It's true, all of us are going through a whole lot of mixed emotions, uncertainty. If anybody else would like to unmute and come on camera and share for the benefit of others, anything that you feel you're going through, or put in the chat box. And there's a reason we are doing this. The ability to express emotions and articulate and say what we are going through is also an aspect of emotional intelligence. And people who are able to name their feelings or talk about their feelings find it easier to manage their feelings. Right? So this is also, in a way, practice for us to build our emotional intelligence, knowing that there is no wrong feeling, there is no bad feeling, all feelings are welcome. So I'll give another 2 minutes.
I'm already feeling slightly better, because I shared and I removed some of my stress through my tears. So please, I will request all of you that someone can unmute and share what you're feeling. And thanks to Gauri for sharing that. And Nirupama is very right that if we can express what we are feeling, many times we are not able to express to our family, because you have to be strong, because you are from healthcare. It is expected that you are strong, because all family will ask you what to do, this. So I am requesting all the participants here, anyone, please unmute and you can speak. If you don't want to come on the video, it's okay.
That's also
But you
fine.
can speak up, express your emotions, please. Yeah.
Ma'am, may I?
Please.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks. And thanks to Satanga, ma'am. Always, she has actually this session is very much need of the hour. For me was, ma'am, like there was this patient who was a CKD. I used to be a transplant coordinator. So he was with me, and we had done a transplant workup. Almost everything was done. He's an young, like he's not he's in a 38-year-old. So the donor was also ready as brother, but some other reason the donor couldn't make up that time due to the financial constraints. So after that, the donor had issues, and then they are left. Last Sunday, his wife called me, told me then like Saturday evening, he's tested with COVID positive. So I told you better, because CKD is a highly risky patient, so it's better get admitted. So the money issues of getting an amount to submit, so that was there. So she told, so we tried to manage it at home. So Sunday, like around 12 o'clock, again she called me and told the BP is getting like around 80/50. So it will just rush it to the hospital because that's a need. So she had tried to contact the doctor, whoever in that hospital, but obviously on Sunday maybe. And the junior consultant who I knew, I called her, but unfortunately he was also affected with COVID. So was not picking up the and then I told stop all the antihypertensive and just you have to immediately to rush. Then by 8 o'clock, this person called me and told now his BP is 100/60. But then like somewhere that warning call was there. I told don't wait, but please, because you actually any time this threatening call is coming. So around on Monday 7:30, was getting ready. She just suddenly called up the and then she told ki Naveen has collapsed and he's not he's not responding. Told whatever vehicle you have, please rush it to the nearby hospital. So, but around we like 11 o'clock, like she called me that he is no more. They couldn't even take him to the hospital. But thing is that around 11 o'clock, there's a last message on my mobile WhatsApp is that he's thanked me for whatever reason I don't know, ki that I'm better now. But this it's really haunting to me. Like yes, actually, this is also one reason. Second is that we all healthcare person used to be like always helpful, and now this stage we have become you have to cut so much of negative to your dear ones, near ones of so much of helpness is arranging an oxygen cylinder. I know Tangam ma'am will agree with me, like in a hospital beds. So like so much of helplessness, like our education, our contacts, our this much of years of service was nothing had mattered in this COVID situation.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I can see that all the intentions are to help, but the situation has made you feel helpless, especially in your role as somebody who's supposed to save lives and take care of that. I can really, connect with what you're going through. And fortunately, it's like there's no easy answers, and this is the situation. Thank you, Sandhya. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Nirupama Subramnian here.
Yes.
I had Cygnia Healthcare, Chennai. I am basically an Army nursing officer, retired. So I really feel that nowadays, like nurses are like COVID warriors. COVID has made them more strong. Like, when you stand in a post, like a security post, soldier knows he'll get a bullet in spite of all the things what he's wearing. Same way nurses, knowingly that they may get COVID, and they're seeing the colleagues getting COVID, still they go forward and look after the patients. I think that this COVID has made our nurses very strong. Again, the nursing leaders have got a great role to play in this. I keep motivating my nurses. I speak to them every day. Tell them, see, you're the one who are going to save the patients. You may get a COVID, no problem, but God will save you. So I just give the example of army soldiers. That really helped me a lot, Like my nurses have done a wonderful job. I keep getting a lot of good messages. We saved a lot of lives. Like we are the biggest heart transplant unit in Chennai, new hospital, MGM Healthcare Chennai, and we're doing very well. So when my nurses go to the ward, I tell them, you're not nurse, you're a soldier now. You're COVID soldier.
Soldiers.
They really work well, no? I strongly feel that nursing leaders have got a real great role, How you motivate them? I tell about my stories. Tell them about my army life. Like in army, how we used to work when there war used to be there. So all this motivates my nurses. I think it's really true that COVID really made nurses warriors.
Wow. Thank you, Nirmala. And that's I think a beautiful comparison which you've used as, so our soldiers also go to war not knowing when the bullet will come. In fact, I think going to the hospital, it's like your PPE kits with your uniform. It's almost like going into a battlefield. And I'm sure the sights that you see are no less than what you might encounter in war. And I thank you for bringing that message of positivity and, as a leader, motivating your nurses. And I'm sure that is what is taking many of them through this tough time.
Also, I want to add one even like people call Hinduism Ekadashi is the best breath, like you don't eat milk, you don't eat anything, Ekadashi, correct? There's one of the best fasting, the supreme fasting in Hinduism.
Fasting.
I think nurses that they do only twice a month. I do that. I take milk and fruits. I believe my nurses do more than that. They don't take water. They can't go to the loo. They cannot even scratch. They sweat like pig. When they come out of the ward, they're totally drenched in sweat in the PPE kit. that is more than Ekadashi breath. I tell them, see, you're doing more than anybody else can do. So you will really get the blessings of God because you're above anybody else on the earth who can do, who can tolerate to the maximum. Not that only, after that, having so much of discomfort, you look after the patients with compassion. Like being the COVID ward, there's no attender mostly, and people are always scared. Every patient wants the nurse to be next to them in the bed, which is impossible. You look after almost 10, 12 patients sometimes because of shortage. They have to attend to everything, right from toilet needs to the feeding. Still they do it with like this really great thing, and they get used to that, and they become very, I don't know, even doctors don't go to the patients very nearby. I was a COVID patient. Most of the doctors stand near now at the entrance and go, oh, you're fine. But nurses, no, they're not, just not scared, absolutely not scared. So the youngest crowd in the earth, the profession, they don't get scared to go to the patient. That is a beauty of being a nurse, like you don't get scared and you're willing to face anything in life. That is really a great feeling. And I'm very proud to be a nurse, as a nursing leader, especially.
Thank you, Nirmala. That's really a story of courage. And as they say,
Nirupama, there is a comment here. Feeling very sad as I lost few of my very close relatives during this pandemic. On work front, we are able to do many things in spite of struggles, and it gives a sense of accomplishment. I can say mixed emotions, but still a kind of feeling that we will win this war. I think what Josephine shared is true to many people, because while you are saving 100 in the hospital, you are losing few in your own family circle or friends, and that is, then you don't know what to make of it, right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you for sharing. And I think, all of us have experienced loss, but I hear from your stories is really, there is no option. You have to keep going. The war is not yet over. And some of you may not even have the luxury of taking time to grieve and do nothing. So you have to keep going and being in this war until we will win it. And I'm sure all of us are wondering, when this normal life will start. But I'm sure for all of you as healthcare providers, normal seems, I can imagine it might seem quite far away. But I'm really touched by your stories of courage. Being there at this in the battlefield constantly, even more than the doctors, and providing care to others, managing your own fears. So it is, in fact, this is superhuman work. It is managing your fears. And unlike even soldiers who can take aggression out on the enemy, really you have to draw your reserves of compassion and care. You can't even take your it's not like we are fighting and you can't be aggressive in the battlefield. The enemy is invisible, mysterious. We don't know anything about it yet. And people are suffering. So it is a superhuman effort. And, I would say really salute to all of you for being there and doing it. And I'm sure you're inspiring all the people around you. And I think, Nirmala, you shared very beautifully that it's a war we have to fight, we have to go on. So, and if it is a war, we also need some protection for ourselves. We wear the PPE kit. So, I will be sharing with you what I like to call personal protection practices, not an equipment, but certain things you can do to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself charged up. And this is something that will not be a solution. It's like I'm saying, it's like wearing a helmet. It may not prevent accidents, but it will certainly protect you when something like that happens. So, which is what I'd like to share with you. I'm going to share some tools so that you have something tangible, and then we will, keep some space for any questions, anything that you can ask. And I'm sure there's a lot to learn from each other as well. All of you are, have that kind of experience, so you can share. So this is what we spoke about. And, usually when something happens like a major, I would call it a battle or a huge unexpected event, we all go through and experience mixed emotions, turbulent emotions. And sometimes this is what happens. If you see this cup, we go to pieces, literally. Right? So this is what we call this fragile. In airports and all, you see boxes, they will have the label fragile. And
Excuse
human
me,
beings are
Nirupama.
fragile.
Sorry, Nirupama, are you sharing something?
Yeah, can you see? Okay,
No, it's not coming.
maybe I didn't do a share. Let me just do that. Yeah. Yes. Now can you see?
Yes,
This is the
yes,
cup.
yes.
Yeah, that's all. This was the only slide. So sharing when we experience sudden, unexpected, unpleasant events, not minor events, but big events like loss, like what is this COVID has happened. And for different people, it could have different lens. We literally, like this cup, human beings also go to pieces. Human beings are fragile. We do feel a whole lot of emotions. We feel lost. We feel scattered. We feel fragile. And I want to say that's okay. But imagine being like this for a very long period of time. Right? You can't remain fragile and broken for a very long period of time. And that is why, as human beings, we pick up, we put ourselves together somehow, and we go on and we develop what is called resilience. Like you see, this cup, it's got cracks on it, but somehow it's put itself back together because it has to go on. And we all do that. And we all have, as human beings, we feel we are fragile, but we are also strong and we also have resilience. And I'm going to invite each of you to take a minute to think about a time maybe before this COVID, before last year, before this COVID happened. Think about a loss or an unforeseen event that you faced and how you got through it, how you managed to be intact, how you managed to come out through it, right? This is what we call resilience, an ability to recover or adjust easily to misfortune or change. And I'm sure all of you have had an experience of doing this. So take a minute and connect with the situation which you faced earlier before 2020. I think all our lives will be now be divided into before 2020 and after 2020. So what happened and how did you put and bring yourself back? So just take some time to think about it for yourself. I'm sure everybody has faced, and about 10 years ago, I lost my father very suddenly to a massive heart attack. He was quite healthy. He was only 68 years old. No history of any disease. He was not on medication. He was visiting me. One morning, he was drinking his tea in the morning, and within 2-3 minutes, he just had a massive heart attack, and he was no more. So at that point of time, I thought my life is, unpredictable. It's gone. Literally went to pieces, completely unprepared, didn't know what happened. My mother was with me, and we were shell shocked for a very long time because it was completely unexpected and it was no disease, nothing. But of course, we have recovered, we have moved on, we have adjusted in some way. And when things are tough, sometimes I look back to that time and said, I still remember the morning. It was 7:30 when that happened. I remember everything that happened so clearly at that time, and complete bewilderment. Like, what what just happened? How can something like this happen? How can a person who's so healthy, non-smoker, non-drinker, vegetarian, how can he suddenly have a heart attack and die in 2 minutes? Couldn't even take him to the hospital. He was, pretty much uh, gone when we reached him. Um, but of course, it's years. We've recovered. We moved on, and it was obviously not pleasant. But I feel yes, we have survived that. So one of the things to do about resilience and when times are tough is think about a time when you managed. And that is what we call resilience. And I'm going to invite anybody, if you would like, to share before 2020 something that was a tough situation that you've experienced, that you felt, but you managed and you came through it, and some strength you can draw from that situation. If anybody would like to share. Before before COVID. I know sometimes it's difficult to think of life before COVID and what was that like in 2019, but I'm sure all of us have had ups and downs in our life, and we know our resilience quotient. So if anybody would like to share anything before 2020, Gauri, I
Yes,
can
ma'am.
see you on camera.
Can I take
Yes,
a
please.
minute to share, ma'am?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because when you started telling, same like my father-in-law's incident came to my mind, ma'am. It was happened some time back. Same situation only. I was actually getting ready for my job in the morning, 8 o'clock, and he was just lying down in the cot. And that time, actually, we were in like a joint family. My brother-in-law, my co-sister, all went out of station for some religious trip, including my son. What happened? So he had a massive attack. I was in the kitchen and he was just calling me, come, come, like that. I was kitchen doing cooking. He was calling me actually, come, like that. When I was telling, okay, I'll just wait. I'll call him mama. Wait, mama, I'll come 2 minutes. By the time I go, it was a very massive attack. I started giving CPR, and my husband was there. Luckily, my husband was there. Remaining all people went for a trip, uh, especially my brother-in-law, co-sister, all those. Then we immediately took one vehicle was there. We took him in the auto only, but on the way only he expired. Massive heart attack, he expired, and we went to near hospital, declared dead only. Actually, why I wanted to tell the situation, because that moment, brother-in-law is a first son. He has to come to because we have to do some rituals and all. We could not reach him because that time, like, yeah, even though all these since they were inside the temple, which temple they are there, we don't know. So we were actually, my husband was trying to call, and could not reach him. Finally, I think that day, somehow night, evening, around 7 o'clock, that time also we could not reach him. Somehow, no, we informed on temple. We just imagine they are going to one place, informed to the temple. Temple number we got, we informed to the temple. Urgently, we wanted to contact them. And my brother-in-law and all, they were praying God. It seems that time one announcement, mic announcement. His name is Rajshekhar. Mr. Rajshekhar, you are urgently wanted in the temple office. They also never thought anything, and just like that, they went. Then they told there is emergency situation. You have to contact your native. Then immediately my brother-in-law called my husband, and my husband only told to my brother-in-law only, because co-sister, children's and all is there. They'll feel because it is a different, because they are all very close with my
Must
father-in-law.
have been a
He's
tough
very loving.
situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So like that, no, somehow they reached next day, because it was very 12, 13 hours travel they did. Next day evening only they could come, because we have to take care, preserve the body, and we have to do all the rituals. So like that, it was a very tough situation. So somehow we managed, and we just came out. I just thought I'll just share with you this. Even though I was a healthcare pro, I could not record. Till now also I remember in my mind. He is calling me. Maybe that moment, because within very short period we have to do that CPR and all. I was telling I'll come. Something I was busy in cooking.
Yeah,
I will always feel that 2-3 minutes, whether I could have
minutes.
done something like that. Things will
Yeah,
be there always. So those sort of things. So somehow we come out. It was
you've
a very
come
tough
out of that.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But he's a very loving person in our family. Everybody, children, everybody, sudden death happened. Like that.
thank you for
That
sharing,
was
Gauri.
the thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
when we think of situations like this, where you've been through it, it should give some courage that we've gone through a tough situation, and now, yes, things will go, things will pass. Thank you for sharing, Gauri. Okay, I see a hand. Is that Ranjita? Do you like to share something? Or
Yes, and I am Mrs. Ranchitam Kisku. I'm a Tamilian, got married to a North Indian,
yes.
and I belong to a church called Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I have two boys. One is a pediatric surgeon in CMC hospital. In I think 2016, if I'm not mistaken, the whole family was met with an accident, and it was a Sunday evening, and my son had taken the whole family for swimming or just to play in the seashore or something like that. And while returning, that way he has traveled several times, but that particular day it was heavy rain, so the car skid and the whole family was very bad accident. And my son, at least 5 6 bones broken, clavicle and all those, scapula. And my daughter-in-law had a very bad accident, and she needs to be having intubated. All those, all of a sudden I heard I'm in Vijayawada and he was in Vellore. And then immediately we need to I need to take a Seshadri and go the next day morning. And it was evening 8 o'clock, and it took almost 3 o'clock morning to settle the whole family by the CMC hospital Vellore. And I am being a nurse and being a Christian girl, Christian woman, and I could not bear, and I was crying and crying. But one thing kept me going, because I have been memorizing God's word, and it gave me nothing will go unnoticed unless God knows everything. Everything is under His control. That is why, though I was crying, God strengthened me, and no sparrow falls to the ground unless God notices. And there are wonderful promises in the word of God that kept me going that night. And early morning, I prepared myself. I should not break down myself in front of my children and my son especially. And I just went and I kissed him, and I said, we are all praying, and the whole church was praying for them. By God's grace, my daughter-in-law was under ventilator for 3 days, and I only just kissed her, and I said, not a sparrow fall under unless God's care is there, His control. So that kept me going. Of course, Jesus died for us, so that kept me going. And the whole family got revived, and within 12 days we were able to bring them home. They were all good after that. And of course, my son had a surgery also after that for a non-union of clavicle and all. And of course, by God's grace and mercy, they are well. They went to UK, came back, and he finished his FRCS and came back. I really thank God for all His goodness and mercy towards us. Being a nurses, if we depend upon God's promises, and He will give us the strength and stamina to go through the struggles and trials in our life. Even now, with all this COVID, so many are dying. But only thing, we have a hope in Jesus Christ. So that keep us going. Though we die, we know that God will raise us up if we believe in Him. That is the trust and we have. So with all this, I just wanted to share this. Thank you for giving me the chance. Though I'm not, I'm with 90, but still I thought I will share with you since you asked me. Thank you, Ms. Nirupama Madam. Thank you so much. God bless all of you as you are leading out this program.
Thank you so much. And I can see that your faith and your belief is such a source of strength for you. So that is what will keep all of us going through these times. Thank you. And that's resilience, right? So we are able to recover, and all of us, I'm sure, have recovered. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to
And we do
introduce
have that grieving process in nursing, where that DABDA, you go through denial, anger, bargaining, and depression, and at last acceptance. So you are able to accept things and keep going on. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, thank
Can I
you.
share
And I think
something,
you've also
Nirupama?
described this emotional flow. Yeah. Yes, Tanka.
While Nirupama was talking about it, I think one technique that maybe we don't use enough is to actually reflect on the occasions where we came over something. through whatever that we have used at that particular time. So all of us, so right now I was thinking of situations that how did I overcome special moments in life where I thought this is the end of the road. Nothing beyond this, there is nothing can be more fearful, nothing can be worse than this. I have gone through such situation, and those were the things related to my son, because I'm a single parent. I have one son. So when something is not right with him, I always feel this is the end of the road. And every time I came over it through, again, a faith. Whether I'm not a very religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person, not religious. I may not recite prayers, etc., but then when i when I was faced with that situation, वो हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि दिल से अंदर अंदर से एक रोना निकलता है खुदा की तरफ. I think that's what happened in those moments. I just cried out probably to say that I don't know how to manage this. God, now it's in your hand because you know what is to be done. So kind of giving up completely to God, I think that's what helped me at that particular time. So right now I'm thinking, many times I'm probably not giving it up to God, saying, "Ki, this is beyond human control. So you better take care, you're in charge." So maybe I'm not doing enough, I just realized. So thanks, Nirupama, for that.
Thank you, Tankam. Yeah, sometimes, and I think sometimes, and I will share this with you, this is a technique, is to tap into our resources, look at our own life and draw faith from that. We'll be going into some other tips, draw faith from God. All of this helps us to become resilient. But I want to share with you something which is moving also beyond resilience, right? So resilience is important. We become intact. And now look at this third cup. You'll see that there is gold paint which has been put in the crack. And in fact, when I saw this, I thought it was really beautiful. And this comes from a Japanese technique, right? And they call this kintsugi. They repair cracked and broken cups with gold, knowing that the brokenness makes the object even more beautiful. Right? So this is actually an art where, yes, you go through, you fall apart, you get into pieces, but when you pull yourself back together, there is something more. Right? You actually discover there is gold within you. And that makes us stronger. That makes us, in fact, also, what they say, tempered. We come out and we become what is called anti-fragile, right? Which is, in some ways, we actually get better. Right? Resilient is very important because without going through resilience, you can't become anti-fragile. But when we become resilient and we use the gifts that we have, we tap into the gold that is there within us, we can become anti-fragile. It doesn't mean we will not break again, but now we know we have some other resources with us so that we can become stronger. And I believe as long as we are alive and breathing, this is a continuous process. We will break, we will put ourselves back together. Hopefully, we will find a way like this happens. And I'm going to share with you something which I found useful. And in the last 1 year, I've been doing many sessions on resilience, and many people have found value in this. So I'm happy to share that with you. How do we go through this entire process? Right? So this is a simple tool which I'm sharing with you called ABLE. And I like the word able because sometimes when we are in pieces, when we are fragile, we feel very unable to do anything. And we need something to help us put us back together. Like some of you have faith, some of us have other things. So this is what this teaches us. So the first step is what we call assess the situation, really look at what's happening. And the second is to tap into your own reserves of confidence and strength, right? And which is what we just did in the examples that you shared. You've done this in the past, you've gone through. The way Gauri shared, Tankam shared, Ranjitam shared, we've been through all kinds of things and something has helped us there. And we have other resources which we may not think of. So A and B is to become resilient. To move to becoming anti-fragile, we might need to learn something quickly, and we might need to also set some new goals for ourselves. So I'll take you through all this. The first step is assessing the situation, right? What is really happening? And when we are caught in a storm of ideas and thoughts, our mind is so distracted that we are not able to take a step back and look at what's really going on. And I'll use a little example here, right? I hope you can all see this. Can you see this? This is a glass of clear water. And some of us will say, is it half empty, half full? But that's not what I'm going to talk about. When we come into this world, we are like this clear glass of water. Like babies don't have that much of judgment, thoughts, beliefs. We come into this world joyous, happy, and hopefully, we have, then after that, we have experiences. And, some experiences are sweet. So if I'm adding some sugar into it, some experiences are salty. All of this will go into us, right? Into our cup. So we will put lots of things, and you can see the water is still a little clear. So happy thoughts, happy memories. Of course, not all the time things are good. So we will have some other things. So you can see my glass of water the water is still there, but things are going into it. We'll have memories, we'll have thoughts, we'll have judgments, we'll have prejudices, we will feel things. So salt, sugary things, salty things, negative things, all will go into this. But when things happen, when sudden overwhelming things happen in the middle, at that time, usually there is fear. Right? And this is what fear is not bad, but we put a lot of fear and anxiety. And not only do we put it, we do this. We are churning. Literally and otherwise, this is our mind churning all of these thoughts within us. I can't think what will happen if this things, I won't be able to do it. Kya ho jayega, kya ho jayega? Same thoughts will go again and again in our mind. And today, as I told you, this lady with whom I was talking, she says, after my husband passed, I couldn't sit still because I was thinking, could I have done something? Could I have something? I was a bad wife. I didn't do enough. What will happen? So all these thoughts are going round and round and round. And now, of course, you can't see anything. Is the water clear? It's not. As long as we keep stirring, this is what is happening to us. Our mind becomes like this, constant churn, 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 churn. And imagine if you're churning all of these fears and anxieties, it's going to take some time for all of this to settle and for us to see the clear water again. So the first thing to do when we feel overwhelmed is actually to stop churning. It is not easy at all. The mind is prone to churning. We can't shut the mind down. Can't say, don't think. But the first is actually to do something like what I said, centering, grounding, allow this churning to stop and settle. And once we are able to do that without constantly being at the victim of our fears, then we can think clearly. Then we will be able to actually make an assessment of the situation. And then we can take a step back and then we can see what is happening. And we will be able to see these three spheres. All of us have these three circles. The first, the big red one outside is what we call circle of concern. The weather, what's going to go to COVID, will we get vaccines, will there be enough oxygen, what is going to happen to other people in my family? We are worried about all this. So there's a huge circle of concern. But really, we can't do too much about these things. I can't change the weather. I cannot immediately impact the policy. Maybe the Prime Minister can, but in this situation, even the government does not seem to be very much in control. Then the second circle is what we call the circle of influence. This is where we can have an impact. And I love the example that Nirmala shared, that I can motivate, as a leader, I can motivate my nurses. Right? Within my hospital, within my sphere, I can have some influence. I cannot control, but I can have some influence. Right? On the people around me, I can support their emotions. I can have influence in my community. Right? For example, I live in the condominium in Gurgaon, and some of us came together and said, things are too bad. There were 2, 3 people who were really suffering because there was no oxygen, there were no beds. So a lot of us contributed money, and somewhere somebody did some jugaad, and now we have 3 cylinders in our building, which is to say that, one person passed away, and we said this will not happen again. So we can't afford to have this happen. So we exerted some influence, even though we can't control, and we managed to get at least 3 cylinders. Possible. But the one thing all of us can do is to be in the middle circle, which is really what we can control. Right? And what we can control is ourselves. But how shall I say, the irony of life is circle of concern is very visible. And we immediately can see what is happening outside. Ye nahi ho raha hai, wo nahi ho raha hai, ye kharab hai, this is not doing, government is bad, these people are hoarding. We can see the outside world very clearly, and that consumes us. And that is what this churning is usually all about, the stuff which is beyond my influence and control. So when we take a step back, allow ourselves to settle, we can have a more objective assessment and see what is beyond my control. I can't do too much. Right? But what is within my influence? Where can I impact? Can I impact in my community? Can I impact the people around me? And what can I really control? My own thoughts and emotions. Okay, so this is what we call assessing the situation in terms of, what is within my control and influence. For example, I can't do too much in the world outside, but I am happy to offer my skills to people who can be served by it. So I'm doing sessions, I'm coaching people, some women who have lost their spouses. So we are doing, I feel at least some semblance of contribution in this. And more importantly, control my own thoughts, emotions, my own well-being. Because I know if I don't take care of my health and well-being, I can't do that. So I do my yoga, I do a lot of these little practices, which I'll share with you, so that I can control myself. Right? So this is what we mean by assessing the situation. And the same situation can be assessed differently. So it doesn't mean all of us will be the same. Right? And I'll share a little story to tell you how this works. This is the story of the 2 shoe salespeople. Right? And long back, in the 18th century, there were 2 people from a shoe company. And I've heard that it's a true story, and it's to do with the Bata Shoe Company. And they sent 2 salespeople to Africa. And Africa was a new continent. Not too many people had gone there, 200 years ago. So they sent these 2 salespeople to see, can we sell our shoes in Africa? And both of them landed in Africa and went to 2 different little African towns. And one was wearing shoes. So he immediately went and he sent a cable to his office saying, situation is hopeless. People don't wear shoes here. We can't sell shoes. And the second salesperson, he went to the village and he saw people were not sharing shoes. But his assessment was very different. He sent a telegram off to the head office saying, amazing opportunity, shoes at all. So same situation is just a different viewpoint. Now, I'm not saying this is right and this is wrong, but if your objective is to sell shoes, who do you think will have a better chance of selling shoes? Who will have a
Second
better,
one. Obviously, the
better
second one
chance?
who saw the
Can
opportunity.
you put your answer? Second one, right? Yeah, because who saw the opportunity in it. Right? So I'm not saying we should always be looking at a situation for opportunity, right? This is not like that. I believe in Delhi, there was a gentleman who was arrested for hoarding oxygen concentrators. So I'm not saying, not that kind of an opportunity like, acha, let us make some money out of somebody's misery. No, that is not at all the kind of opportunities we want. But can I look at the situation without only looking at the negative aspects, but see some opportunities which are there, right? And I went through this situation in the beginning of last year. All the work I did till 2020 was face to face. So I'm a trainer, I'm a facilitator, I do workshops for companies. I used to travel 5-6 times a month. I would go to Bombay, I would go to Chennai, I would go to Bangalore, I would go to many other countries, and I would be in a classroom doing my training. And in 2020, that completely stopped. There was lockdown, there was travel ban, companies were doing work from home, and I thought, that's it. I'm going to be unemployed. I will have no job. So that was my initial assessment of the situation. And for 1 month, I was really grappling and struggling. I was talking to people saying, what's going to happen? And a couple of programs that I was supposed to do was cancelled. Obviously, people said, no, we can't travel. So for 2 months, my situation, assessment was, kuch nahi hoga. I was like the first shoe salesperson. Right? It's not going to happen. Classroom training has stopped that I did, which was virtual. But most of my work was being in a classroom. Luckily, of course, I had to change. I had to look for opportunities. I have to say, yes, virtual medium is there. There is something called Zoom. There is Microsoft Teams. And slowly I started doing the sessions. In fact, I offered a lot of resilience sessions to my clients so that they would do it virtually. And I slowly started doing virtual sessions. And now I feel when the situation opens up, we will have both opportunities. I can do face-to-face, but I can also do virtual sessions. So that is what we call the assessment of the situation. Settle, step back, look at what is within your influence and control. Don't focus on the outside. What we cannot do. Focus on what we can do, and most importantly, what you can do as an individual in this situation. And that is what we call the assessment of the situation. And I use the word assessment and not a judgment. Right? These days, everybody is judging. Oh God, Corona will never end. It will go for 3 years. This will never happen. Right? And we made an assessment in February that Corona had gone. So there is very little which is based on actual facts. So it is no use making an judgment about the larger situation. But we can make an assessment about ourselves. Right? So that is the A, assess the situation. And when you assess the situation, you might feel actually, the situation is not great, which is probably the case now, right? I can't control this. I am a healthcare provider. I have to go to the hospital every day. I am in a battle. The battle will not stop. I am in a battle. I am at war against this corona. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Shiba and Lata says, yes, we experienced the same thing, right? And we find that there is learning, like in a virtual session like this, hopefully there is some learning as well. So now the second step, right? We'll come to the second step. You are at war, you are going, things are not great, there is shortage. Yes, unfortunately, we are losing lives. So we move from A to B. What is B? Is what we call belief and self-confidence. And when we are in overwhelm, right, when all of this is happening, we are seeing only the dirt, we are seeing only the negative thoughts. We lose sight of the resources we have, we lose sight of the gold that we have. And we can see the gold only if we settle. So the second step is to tap into your own resources and self-confidence. Right? And confidence is something you create within yourself by believing not only what is internal to you, it can come from past experience, which is what we just discussed, right? You have been resilient in the past. You've gone through all kinds of things. You've experienced loss, you've experienced uncertain situations. So like past experience can make us confident. Hey, I've managed. Your own abilities and qualities, you have skills, right? You might be a great teacher, you're a leader, you have those abilities and qualities you can tap into. Sorry, suddenly my phone made some noise. And then it could be your attitude, which is your optimistic attitude, the connections, the people you know, the friends you have. fact that you have financial security. Today I'm alive and healthy and well. All of this can give us source of strength and confidence. Right? So I'm going to invite each one of you now to go, into the chat box and just type in something which is a source of strength, confidence, which is a resource that you have. Right? It could be your faith, which we discussed. Right? Your belief in your God. It could be your faith. It can be some strength that you have, which you're now realizing, hey, I managed to do that. It can be your loving family support. It could be friends. It could be your team. So just go in, and I'm really inviting you to connect to your gold, right? To the gold that you have within you, in you, which you should acknowledge now. Right? I'm going to invite each of you to go into the chat box and put in something that you feel is a source of strength and confidence. And when you share, other people also draw strength from that. Some, yes, Tankam, thank you. That is to do something virtually. Thank you, Josephine. Prayer, family, friends, wonderful. The fact that we have a community around us is a source of strength. And I feel that now, after going through this, there's so many strangers who are coming forward and helping people, and people who we don't know. These complete strangers are helping people. So there is a lot of faith in the goodness of human beings. That is also a source of strength for me, that if something were to happen, at least I have good neighbors around me who will pitch in, who will help. That is a source of confidence. Your experience, yeah, prayer, wonderful. Ability to listen, your mother, thank you, Sandhya. Yeah, and it could be a loving person who is physically present, but even the spirit of somebody whom you love as a guide, if you have a spirit guide, that is also a source of strength. Wonderful. And I want each one of you to connect to that and say, yes, there is stress. It is hard. And we can't pretend that it is easy, that life is wonderful because of what you're going through. But I have strength. Your team, wonderful. Thank you, Pramila. God's blessings, family support. Yeah, even the fact that, and I feel a lot of you are blessed that you have this opportunity to save lives and lead a life of meaning and purpose. And that itself could be a strength. Yeah, ability to help, positive outlook. Yeah, your team, wonderful. So please connect to this, the strength, the gold, and the resource that you have. Wonderful. Having a great team, having, I think, one friend to whom you can unburden yourself and who is there for you to support. Your children, like Sangam shared, your son, wonderful. Faith, your prayer. So please connect to that and really feel that as a source of strength for you. And you might have more such positive things than recognize or give credit for in these times. So one of the things I tell the people I coach who are usually down is to make a list. Make a list of all the things that give you strength. School, yeah. And when you make a list of all the things that give you strength, you'll find that's a nice list to have. So anytime you're feeling down, you're feeling shattered, just write. Actually, the act of writing and making a list itself is very powerful, and it's a big source of strength for you. So that is the A and B, believe in yourself. Next, you will come to learning, right? Which is, hey, maybe in this new situation, there is something I need to learn. I need to develop this growth mindset. And human beings are actually quite amazing, right? It's what Darwin says. It's not the strongest which survives or the intelligent. It's the one that adapts to change. So human beings are not the strongest creatures in the planet. They are the most adaptable creatures. but we become intelligent is what will take us towards a higher level of resilience. So I had to learn the virtual medium. Right? I'm not a very technology friendly person. I'm one of those people who hates to change even mobile phones because I have to learn. I said I have to learn how to use a new phone, and I don't want to do that. I'm very adaptable when it comes to other things, but technology is not my favorite thing. But I had to learn and get comfortable with technology very quickly during this lockdown. Right? I had to learn quickly. I had to convert a lot of modules, which I would do in a classroom, to a virtual session like this. So I had to think of things that I can't, hey, I can't, instead of thinking I can't do this, I can't make people do role plays, I can't do this, I had to start thinking of what can I do, right? What can I do? I can do little, I can, make presentations still. I can do things like showing you things, like in the glass, and I can make some of the things interesting. But I had to learn it. I actually attended a course on virtual facilitation that helped me to learn. And learning doesn't have to be a skill, it could be a new mindset, right? Maybe learning means now you have to learn to surrender. Earlier, you were always a fighter, but now you say, I have to learn how to surrender. Or somebody who has had a mindset of surrendering has to say, now I have to fight. It could be a new habit. Maybe earlier you really neglected your health, and now you have to learn to take care of yourself. So this is what we have to learn and we want to work on. And I'm again going to invite all of you to take, just 5 seconds to think about something that either you have learned or you are learning. It could be, as I said, a skill, a behavior. It could be just a new mindset to hold, that things will get better, or a belief that you have, or a skill, right? Like virtual. So I think Tangam and I both had to learn how to get comfortable with virtual workshops and training, right? So think about something that you learn. And it's very important because learning actually activates certain parts of the brain that are important for our well-being. Right? It lights up these neurons, which actually support us because we feel a little in control when we are learning. When we have a growth mindset, we feel we are doing something for ourselves, and that itself is a big energy boost. Right? That is what we call learning. What do you have to learn? And once you are learning, and along with that is the next step, which is establishing a new goal. Right? Because the old goals may not work. So keeping something new for you to do every day can be extremely powerful. It could be a small step, it could be something new. So I set a goal that I would do 10 virtual sessions before the year was over. And I actually did, now I've lost count, I've done many more than 10, I would have done maybe 30, 40 virtual sessions. But I said in the beginning, I will do 10 virtual sessions. I will do some of them for free, but I will do them as a way of keeping myself engaged and for learning the session. And my other goal, which I set was, for a particular practice, which I will share with you, which is I will exercise every day. No matter what, there will not be a single day in which I will not exercise. And I'm very lucky, I'm grateful I have the time. I can get up in the morning. So I do yoga 5 times a week. I get up at 6 o'clock. I have a 6:45 a.m. yoga class. And I'm happy to say that I really haven't missed a day. Even when my yoga teacher is not there, I make sure I do my own exercise. Okay? So that is my new goal, was to do exercise daily and, set a goal for my workshops. Okay, thank you, Shiba. I can see to grow, you got time to grow, learn to have patience. Yeah, wonderful. So I'm going to invite you all to do some sharing now before I move to the exercises, to the tips and techniques, specific tips and techniques. What have you learned? Or what is a goal that you had set and you have accomplished? If anybody would like to share in the chat box or with the others, this is also a way to inspire other people. So just opening it up for some sharing now. Anybody can share something that you have learned, like Josephine has shared in the chat, learning to have patience. It could be a skill, a behavior, a new practice that you've put in that is giving you some positivity and some help during these times. Anyone? Okay. Thank you, Sandhya. Learning to enjoy. Yeah, live with minimal resources. Yeah, that is so interesting. I haven't stepped out of my apartment complex in the last 1 month, and I actually feel that's okay. I haven't missed anything. So minimal resources. Yeah, learning to meditate. Anybody else would like to share? Come on the. You can unmute yourself and share with the others. Also welcome. Yeah, being resourceful, I see, right? They say it's not the how much of resources you have that determines your success, but how resourceful you are that determines how successful you will be. So I think all of us are learning that. So I'll give a few more seconds for anybody else to share what you've learned or something you would like to learn that you feel now this is something which I don't have and I want to learn that. It could be a quality you see in somebody else and say, hey, I want to learn how that person is managing to do that, or something for your own growth.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Gauri
Yes,
here.
Gauri. Yes, Gauri.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, when I attended one leadership workshop, actually, that is emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there, I think I had only some 5 minutes of information on emotional intelligence. Now I started deeply checking on, because when I learned that, next day I had little stress in my workplace. I started using that technique where I could come out. I could easily manage the situation. So then it was little interesting for me. Let me go through little deeply on that emotional intelligence. That's why when you were using the word emotional intelligence in this starting of the session also, I was so much interested. I started checking so many information. I thought, let me prepare a very nice content, and also let me. I think I have a hope of publishing it also, gathering so much of, so that it will help me in learning myself, because now present situation, our emotional, because little bit only I learned actually, but I wanted to learn more about that, because when we in a workplace, even in the family, even with the colleagues, to manage the situation, it is really going to be helpful. We should be strong enough. That is what now starting days I just started gathering the information on that, where I have a hope that I need to gather nice content, and I have to even publish it in good journals like that. Nowadays, I started thinking about some tips.
Wonderful.
Yeah, some tips and all. I'll start utilizing it in my workplace with my colleagues. Where before it was little different. When I started using it, the things were little smooth. I'm experiencing it personally. So that is what my hope, ma'am, actually.
Great.
So yeah, thank
Very
you so much.
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauri. That's wonderful. So there's
Yes.
the book on emotional intelligence is Daniel Goleman's book called Emotional Intelligence. That will be an interesting book for you to read. So he's called
Daniel,
uh,
Daniel.
I'll put it in the chat box for
Yeah,
those
thank
of
you
you
so
who
much.
are
Thank you so much
interested.
for the input, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah, so he's written a lot. He's written, I think this is the spelling, right? He's
yes,
written a book on emotional intelligence, and there are a lot of resources. So I do workshops on emotional intelligence. It's a very interesting, and
yes,
in these circumstances, a very useful subject, right? So you can read up about it and do a session for others. That will be also wonderful. Thank you, Gauri. Thank you so
yeah.
much.
That's also my plan, ma'am. Actually, I
Yeah.
wanted to do it. Actually, I'm interested to do it.
Please do that. Wonderful. Because that is what emotional intelligence is, nothing but the ability to be aware of your own emotions regulate it, and also be aware of other people's emotions, right? So that's
I'm
why
showing the book. I'm showing the book.
oh, nice. Yeah,
Emotional
there it is.
intelligence.
Thank you, Tangam ma'am, so much. I think I
So
Yeah.
have to.
Gauri, this book will be given to you. I have two
Oh,
of these books. This is with
oh,
plastic. It's covered.
yes, sir.
I don't know
Yes,
why
sir.
I bought two books, so it's there. It just happened.
Oh,
So this is going to Gauri.
that's why.
Just
Thank you
I
so
never
much, ma'am.
planned
Thank
it.
you.
It
Ma'am,
just
all
happened.
God's plan, ma'am. All this
How
connectivity,
interesting.
it is all nice,
See,
ma'am. Nice to
So
see.
all
so
Thank
luck,
you so
huh?
much.
interesting.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Coincidence,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah,
It's
maybe,
yours. This is yours.
yes, ma'am. Future, I can, we can have a session on this after some time of my work, actually. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Gauri will take a session next. Yeah, on
Yes, ma'am.
this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Very, very useful. And, I found it very useful how to move, how not to react to situations, move to a response, how to have empathy. All of that is wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for those of you who are sharing what you are learning, like Vijay shared, not to take everything to heart. Wonderful. Yeah. They say don't, the more we react, this is what react to situations, the more our own peace of mind we lose. Right? So praying for others, supporting others, all of these are new things that we can learn that will make us more resilient and move us to, being more anti-fragile. Wonderful. So now we've looked at the ABLE framework, right, which is a very simple tool for managing ourselves and the situation. So assess the situation, allow your emotions to settle, see what is in your circle of whether, concern, influence, or control, and then see whether you can have a more positive assessment of the situation. That's the first, is to distance yourself a little bit, right? Allow things to settle. Right now, if you can see my water, it's not as dark as it was earlier, right? When I stirred it up, it became really dark. Things are settling down. And what is not needed is in a way moving to the surface, and I can easily remove it. I can easily see what needs, right? This is all needs to be removed. I can easily remove it. So allow your things, allow your thoughts and emotions to settle. Tap into your source of strength and self-confidence. When everything looks dark and gloomy, there's always some gold, some ray of hope, some strength that you can tap into. Once you do these two, you are ready to learn. So what is a new behavior, a skill, something that you can learn, right? So Minnie has shared, thank you. You're learning, you're praying more, the frequency increases. And every tough situation, I believe, is a message for us to learn something. And a friend said also, maybe this whole corona there's a message for all of us as human beings to learn. And I'm not sure what that is yet, but if we are going through this time, it means that there is something we need to learn, that we have to grow. Right? We have to grow because the situation demands that of us. And once we do that, we can tap into putting a little goal for ourselves. And it's very important to have small goals, right? And this is what people who, I don't know if any of you are grief counselors, but I spoke to somebody who does that. They said for people to get over grief, it's important to set a small goal. And the goal could be, I will get up in the morning and brush my teeth, because they are unable to do anything but set a small goal. Right? One of the things I do is writing. I've written 3 books, and sometimes when I say writing a book, which was a dream for me, seemed like this huge goal. It seemed too impossible. So I said, okay, let me write at least 2-3 chapters, right? Setting the small goals was easier. And then I said, okay, let me at least write little bit every day. So 20 minutes I will write every day. That made it easier and possible. So set small goals for yourself. And because once we execute small goals, the reward center in our brains gets activated, right? And then we feel like, hey, we get this big positive rush of energy. Our dopamine levels get activated. We get all these positive hormones going once we are able to achieve a goal. The same way we feel sad, but when we achieve, we feel charged up. And we need that to balance the cortisol that gets secreted because of stress. Right? I'm sure all of you are healthcare providers, you would be knowing this. Stress releases a lot of cortisol, and accumulated cortisol is not good for us. So to balance that out, we need the other hormones, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the dopamine, to balance out and keep ourselves happy. And that is what this process does. Right? At the same time, this is a tool, we can use this, but I believe that resilience is like building a muscle. It doesn't happen overnight, right? And I don't know if any of you have tried to lose weight or build muscle. We know that if we stop eating for one day, we're going to feel very unhappy and starve, but it's not going to help us to lose weight. So we have to get into a healthy eating plan. We have to go and exercise on a daily basis to build muscles. Right? And building immunity doesn't mean today I eat vitamin C and I become immune. We have to develop that over a period of time. Similarly, resilience is a practice that we build over a period of time. So what I'm going to share with you are some practices for building resilience. Some of you might be doing some of them. Some of you might find something new here. But these are all things that you can do on a daily basis to build your resilience, boost your immunity. And these are what I call, personal protection practices. And all of these are research based. There's been enough evidence to show that these practices have a very positive result on your physical indicators as well as mental indicators. And they are simple ones. The first one is what we call mindful breathing. This is very similar to the centering practice that we just did at the beginning. And it involves doing nothing but sitting as long as you can. Some people meditate for half an hour. Some people are able to. Dalai Lama apparently meditates for 7 hours every day. We don't have that luxury. But I find, and I do it for just 5 minutes every morning, and I combine it with some of the other things. But I have my pranayama practice. I do that. But mindful breathing is just sitting still, bringing the attention to your breath. You do it for 5 minutes every day, you will see a big improvement in how you face the rest of the day. And I hope some of you found the practice, the grounding and centering practice we did beneficial. This is exactly like that. Sit, breathe, and make sure your exhalation is slightly longer than your inhalation, because that will impact your parasympathetic nervous system. You'll slow it down, you can sleep better. So just sit and breathe. The second is physical exercise. I'm sure all of you are aware of the benefits of physical exercise. These days, of course, because of lockdown, many of us are not able to go down. But give yourself 10 minutes of some exercise every day. It could be a walk. It could be simple, 10 Surya Namaskars. It could be just little jogging on the spot. But just get your heart rate up and do some exercise every day. It's a big resilience booster. The third practice which I'd like to offer you is journaling. And journaling is nothing but writing down your thoughts and emotions in a diary. I don't know any of you kept a diary as children or as teenagers. I used to keep a diary and I lost the practice for a long time, which I've just started recently. And this is a great safe way to discharge your emotions. Right? Some of us are able to share. Some of us don't feel comfortable sharing. But your journal is like your best friend. It's your personal private space for sharing. So you can take maybe just 2-3 minutes to write one page, whatever you're feeling, just like some of you shared in the chat box. Right? And as Tangam shared, just sharing sometimes makes you feel lighter. I find that when something is really going on, just sharing it with somebody or writing it down gives you clarity. And this is a great practice. And I would really invite all of you, even some of you who have a fondness for writing, one page every day, right? Anything, no judgment, no filters. You can write, I am sad, I'm sad, I'm sad 20 times. But the act of putting it down from here and here onto a paper gives release. You will actually experience a physical release, especially to discharge negative emotions. So that is one way. The next practice I want to offer you is anchoring. Right? Like an anchor gives you support. An anchor is anything that gives you some support, some strength. Right? For example, a lot of people think of God, right? You see a picture of your God in front of you, anchoring. A little prayer, right? The little prayer you always say at any point of time is anchoring. I don't know if any of you have seen this movie, Hindi movie, Three Idiots. And I really liked that movie. I saw it some time back. And I still remember one of the things, the character, Amir Khan was the hero. He used to do like, all is well, all is well. And there's a nice song also. So that's anchoring. Right? He's just steadying himself down and saying a sentence that gives strength. Some people wear something, right? It could be, something you wear. It could be a symbol of your religion, or it could be a bracelet, an amulet, something that you are able to see physically and touch to give you strength, right? Or it could be a gesture, right? And apparently, and I heard the story recently about a tennis player called Rafael Nadal that, whenever he gets very stressed in the match, he does something apparently he touches himself like this. That's anchoring, right? A gesture, a prayer, a picture that you can see, all of this is anchoring, right? So please keep something with you, which can be an anchor for you. Right? And it could be just for me, a lot of times, for me, my daughter is a big anchor. And she's not, she's studying in the US now, and she's not with me, and I do miss her. So sometimes when I'm feeling down, I just look at her photo, and I'm sitting in her room right now doing this call. So that's the source of strength and support for me. So it's wonderful to have an anchor, and I would invite those of you feel a struggle to keep a physical anchor with you, right? Touch it, hold it, feel it. It could be even a stress ball which you squeeze that gives you strength. The fourth practice is self-compassion. And I know as healthcare providers, all of you have a lot of compassion for others. You're expected to show compassion for others. There's an expectation that you're caring of others. But like the oxygen mask, self-compassion starts with yourself, right? And I'm going to ask all of you to do a simple exercise. So if you can see me, please do this for yourself. Just take your hand up like this and pat yourself on the back and say you're doing a great job. Right? We don't need others to pat us on the back, but we do want to give self-compassion. So you're doing a great job. Wonderful. Right? Amidst all this turbulent time, fear, uncertainty, stress, you are showing up, you are going to work, you are being there for others. Please recognize that for yourself, right? And self-compassion is extremely important during these times, right? You might be feeling guilty that you're not doing enough, but please recognize yourself for whatever that you are doing. And that's very important, to feel compassionate for yourself, to recognize yourself, to say, I'm doing the best I can, rather than saying I'm not doing enough, right? If you're not doing enough, truly do whatever you feel that you can do, but recognize yourself, celebrate yourself, uh, just be kind to yourself, right? So that's what we call self-compassion. And this is a simple practice, and you can just sit and say, I appreciate this about myself. This is something I really appreciate about myself. A quality, something that you did. So self-compassion is actually a very, very effective resilience practice, right? Being compassionate and kind to yourself first. And another practice I want to offer is gratitude, which is being grateful for even the little things, right? And I know a lot of us say, yes, we should count our blessings, but gratitude as a practice is a very simple activity of just saying, here are 3 things that I am grateful for, and actually spelling it out. So look for different things each day. And I do this, I've been doing it for the last 1 year. And I've actually found amazing things happen because of this. And I truly believe that the more you're grateful for the things you have, the more things you will have to be grateful about. And, I'm grateful for the little opportunities that come my way. And when I express that gratitude every morning, actually more opportunities come. And I think at least it's been amazing. The universe truly responds. Yeah. So that is the act of practicing gratitude, making gratitude a practice, not just a general feeling. Right. So I actually sit every morning when I do my meditation. I actually say, I am grateful for this. It could be just some food I had to eat the previous day, right? Something tasty, and I'm very grateful. I can say for the fact that today, I have a maid who comes to clean, and she had a bad throat for the last 3 days, so she was very scared. We were scared. Today she got tested, and she was negative, and she was so relieved because she's a single mother who's supporting 3 children, and she said, "Didi, agar mujhe ho gaya, to main kya karungi?" And she was so stressed. Finally, she went and got test done today, and she was very relieved, and I was so grateful. I was happy for her. I was also very grateful for that, right? So small things today, find things that we can be grateful for and express it as a sentence. Yeah, absolutely. Right, something that's happened to me. You don't have to recount the unfortunate things, but we all have certain things that we can be grateful for. And research is there to show that people who practice gratitude consciously actually have better emotional well-being. Right? They sleep better, they have better blood pressure, they have higher levels of immunity. And there's actually research to show this. So gratitude, active gratitude becomes extremely important. So these are some of the practices, and I'm going to invite any of you to share if you have any other practices that you find have very useful to build resilience apart from these. Right. So just breathing, exercise, journaling, anchoring, self-compassion, and gratitude are some of the practices that I would like to offer to build resilience and well-being on a daily basis. And these don't take time. You can do all of them in just 10 minutes every day. And I often find that when you start the day well with a strong intention, the day actually goes better than what it might have gone. So I do a simple clearing practice every morning, which is, and I'll share this with you, which is a simple practice, which I call it my 3-2-1 practice. And now I'm a big believer because it really works. So I say 3 things that I am grateful for, exactly. 2 things that I look forward to in the day, like which is a little goal that I have set myself, which I want to accomplish, or something that I know is going to happen, and I have a positive outlook towards that. And it can be just lunch. I know I'm looking forward to eating biryani, for lunch. It could be as simple as that, or hey, I'm looking forward to my coaching session today. So 2 things I look forward to, and 1 thing I want to release that does not serve me. Fear, anxiety, stress, dread, laziness, jealousy, distraction, whatever it is on that day, I feel I'm carrying it and I want to release it. It could be a grudge. It could be some jealousy against somebody. It could be just irritation with my husband, which I'm carrying over from the previous day. Why did he do that? And I release it and I say, I release it from my system. Right? So that is a practice that I do that also I find very helpful. Okay. Now I'm going to pause and ask you if you have any questions, anything to share, anything that is on your mind. Also an invitation for you to express both self-compassion and gratitude. Right? So
I'm calling upon the
is it a
person with
question?
iPhone. She wanted to share in the beginning, so I told her we will have an opportunity towards the end.
Please.
I don't know your name. Please introduce and you can share. She came as iPhone, so I'm not where. I don't know your name. Please unmute
Yeah.
and share. Please go ahead.
Yeah, we can see you. Oh, no, not anymore. Okay, she seems to have.
Ma'am, I have one because when I have seen the people when the reminding in stress, if it is stress is there, मुझे बहुत stress है, मुझे बहुत तकलीफ है, मतलब that reminder, continuous reminder is not good. Second things, what they are putting their all the things in their subconscious mind. So 90% our subconscious mind is working. So I think you should not put any stressful things in your subconscious mind, because when we are putting negative things in your subconscious mind, so always we have to be around us, we have to create the positive atmosphere. And
Very true. And yeah. What is your name? Sorry, it just says iPhone.
My name is Jyoti Patel from Tata Memorial Hospital. And when
Okay, Jyoti.
I am a senior staff nurse, and when I realized the girls to contact me, and when I have seen they are very stressful, so I have arranged one program also, Art of Living. Other than I am practicing the Vipassana, Reiki therapy, and now I am doing MSc counseling and spirituality. So I realize everything is depend on your breath only. If you know how to control your thoughts and breathe, you can be quite, you can remove your stress, everything.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you so much for sharing. You're absolutely right. And I love your energy. You have a lot of positive energy. I can just sense that from just looking at you. So I'm sure you're practicing what you're talking about. You're very right. Controlling, if you can control your breath, you will control your thoughts. And that is what mindful breathing is all about. And thoughts are actual things. Right? You're absolutely right. And a lot of spirituality and science actually says the same thing, that our thoughts will control our feelings and actions and behaviors. And if we change here, we can change there.
Right.
And I also like the other thing that you said. The moment you keep on saying, I am stressed, you're inviting more stress into your life.
Right.
It's difficult to detach, but you're right. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jyoti. Lovely to hear that.
Jyoti reminded me the power of laughter.
Yes.
So my question is, like, sometimes you feel guilty that why am I laughing when the world is going through this? So that, contradicting thoughts sometimes pushes you to feel sorry. And I think, again, we are pushing ourselves into the negative aspect of it. So that's what I do, that towards the night, I go and look at all those cute baby videos. That 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, all the funny videos, what the kids do. So I go through those videos, laugh myself, and then I go to sleep. I do work late, so but that works for me.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
And
in my department, I have told the people, even to labor staff, to our staff, when they are entering, always be, it's a teamwork, always be very they are always be they are not in stress because of that atmosphere I have created. Second things, they are not allowed to tell I am stressed, I have some pain, I have this and one of the girls, she felt severe accident, but that doctor was surprised how she has recovered, and she was working with me, so she told me because of you only I came out.
Wonderful. That is so true, right? So the language we use makes a difference also to our thoughts, right? Each one connects to the other. Absolutely.
Right.
So accept what you're feeling, but we shouldn't go on saying that. So that is also emotional intelligence, right? To recognize, this is what I'm feeling, and then can I shift from there? Wonderful.
And second,
thank you, Jyoti.
ma'am, one technique I told my staff, sir, 1 hourly you put alarm, 1 hourly, after 1 hour when alarming, you have to thoughts you have to block, and after that you have to switch off alarm. So 1 minute, 1 hourly, if they will do so, once they will control their thoughts.
Good idea. Great tip. I think keep an alarm. Now we all carry our phones. Keep an alarm like that for
So
every
that
1 hour silent time. Yeah.
silent.
Yes. Great tip.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Thank you.
Jyoti. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody
I would
else?
I would like to hear from more people who are actually in hospital to tell us, what is it that you are practicing so others can learn from you. See, when I'm sharing something, it is not so relevant because I'm sitting at home. Okay. But you are the ones who are actually at the war front, and then you are having your own techniques. So just like Jyoti shared, maybe you have something that is working for you. So please do share because we have another 7 minutes to 9. So please go ahead and share. That's why we have got together here today, is that we share because we care for each other. Yes. So
See,
let's
difficult.
hear from more of you. Yeah.
Yeah, difficulties make you stronger. Okay, now I remember one saying, "It is not ease but discomfort. It is not facility but difficulty which makes you strong." So I feel the more you are in discomfort, the more you have to face difficulty, you become stronger. And when you're stronger, you're able to look after the patients or do work much better. So nothing should affect you. You should only think about what good you can do to others. So you are always attitude, yes, these two will pass. When you get into trouble, think that even this will pass. When there's difficulty, you can always think there's something good ahead for you waiting. When there's something too good, also you should not take it too heavy on your head. It is too good now, but I maybe say some difficulty after this. So you have to be neutral in your attitude when you're working. I think that attitude serves better as a nurse.
Absolutely. So I think, thank you, Nirmala, for sharing. And what you also mentioned is really your attitude matters a lot. Right? Situation might be the same, but what is the attitude that you bring to the situation makes a big difference to how you deal with it. If you
Like
feel this situation is going to make you stronger and bring out the best, you will deal with it in a different way.
all is well. That is the
Thank
best
you.
I feel. All is well.
All is well. All
Yeah.
is well. Yeah.
Yeah, can I come
At
in
least all
just for
will
a
be
minute?
well.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Josephine.
Yeah.
Yes,
See,
please go ahead.
Tangam was asking, what best practice you are doing in the hospital, which is keeping you going. I have something to say that I think, stress, as Nirupama said, if you keep repeating that, that become more stressful. As a leader, what I have practiced is listen to your team. Like, the day begins with a team interaction, and there are always good feedback coming from the patient. At the same time, there are, negative feedback also at times coming in. So focus more on the good feedback and share it with the team, and let everyone know that so and so patient said good about this and that, maybe about a single nurse or a team or the entire team of doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. Discuss all that than talking again and again about the negative thing that has happened. And I have noticed that that keeps lot of positivity among the team members, and they kind of endu and energy.
Josephine drop off. I think she dropped off. So
Josephine?
while Josephine was talking about that good positive stories, I just remembered I saw in the internet,
Yeah.
they call it as hope huddle. Hope huddle.
Wow.
Every day they talk about not positive feedback, they talk about patients whom they have helped to recover.
Yeah.
So they talk about patients who stayed in the hospital for 10 days, 12 days. Now they are getting better, going home. So they are sharing those stories and they are calling it as Hope Huddle. I thought that's a very, there is a name to it. There's an exercise to it. So everybody, same like Josephine told, no, come to
Nice.
share the positive feedback. It is not only for positive feedback, it's actually discussing about the patients whom the team helped to get better. So I'm just remembered that. I thought let me share. I think we have Madhavi raised her hands.
Nice.
Madhavi.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you, Tangam. I like that hope huddle. Nice word.
Good
Yes,
evening to
Madhavi.
all. Yeah, Nirupama ma'am did a wonderful session, and would like to share one thing about is, all through this pandemic period, I have a wonderful team of 300 plus nurses who take care of the pediatric patients. So it's not only the pediatric, they also have to take care of the parents. The emotions of the parents, the all the all the kind of anxiety and everything. And then these girls are young, they are not as experienced. There's a team which is experienced enough, but the major part which takes care after 5 o'clock and throughout the night is this middle, the mid juniors and the nurses. So who are going through all these things. They feel the hurt, they start crying. There is. So for me, it has always been an open door. So whenever like there is the thing coming where there is a reporting where which one of the department is having a very busy day. So we make it a point that we meet the nurses who have worked that, during that period. So where we allow them to talk about their what has gone through, what was it difficult, where would we help them and make it easier for them. So that is the moment when they open up something which you would never know in a daily reporting. It will never come to us from the in charges. But then they open up, they start crying that what was the hurt that they felt was not about the pressure of the work. It is about the hardship the family is going through. And it is just this little that they can do. Just a little that they can do, but they are giving their maximum. So there is where we talk to them and they say, this is what you could do. You have given your 100%. So you have to be grateful about it. And I would like to mention one thing which I learned from Tamkam ma'am. So we maintain a star book wherein we mention this, some of these wow moments of this nurse, all the nurses, all the team, wherein wherever there is a good feedback, anybody, even if it is somebody coming up and telling, yeah, this nurse made a difference yesterday. She has to admit the patient who didn't have a single penny, but she went out of the way to ensure that this admission was done. So this is how actually motivates them and keeps them going. And one more thing that I have been practicing along with the team is making them realize that they have to care for each other. So during the pandemic, the staff which were placed into the suspect isolation as well as the COVID isolation, the outside senior nurse. The senior nurse, her only task was to look at the hydration and the nutrition of the staff placed inside. So that gave them a motivating, and they used to come up to put up their rotation. So if they have completed 1 month rotation, after 2 months they came back and said that, ma'am, okay, you can put me back into that isolation rotation. I'm ready to do it. So this is the care that they saw that was coming down to them from a senior nurse. So that kept them going. That's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhavi. Thank you for sharing. And I think that's a wonderful practice. And you also give a space for people to share their emotions. I think that itself is a big release for everyone. And recognizing these wow moments and the good practices, which that's what you were sharing, Tangam, as well. That
I
itself can
think
be motivating for the team.
I think in this war, the general or the colonel, whoever we call it, is very, very important, very critical. Maybe their job is not actually to wear the PPE and be fighting the battle in COVID. It's rather being there with the team. Just like, Madhavi told, listening to them, appreciating them, asking
Listening.
them, how are
Yeah.
you? Is there anything I can do for you? Not be afraid to ask. Because I have seen this in my career that sometimes we are afraid to ask our staff, is there anything I can do for you? Because you're afraid that they might ask something that you are not able to give them.
To do.
So because of that, I have seen many people, they don't like to ask because they are afraid. But you will be so surprised that if you actually ask, is there anything else I can do for you? They will actually look at you, smile and say, no. I mean, their smile will tell you that they're happy that you thought of them and you're asking that, is there anything I can do for you?
Just ask.
Those things from a leader is extremely important during the crisis. Even normal days, it is very, very important. But I think in crisis, that is when the testing of the real leadership comes, when it is actually under stress, whether you are
And
with them talking we, or you are with them just saying, you better do this, I'm supposed to be just directing. So we are here to talk about self, care, so that you become resilient. But I think there are many seniors here, and they will definitely agree. They probably have double stress. One is to manage their own stress, and then manage the stress of their team, so that they are, like Madhavi said, they'll come back and tell, "Can I go back there?" I mean, it's like a music to my ears. If I'm in Madhavi's place, I will be so happy to say, "Oh my God, my nurses, they want to go back to that place." That means something is going right here, right? So I think, thanks to all the leaders, apart from all the staff nurses who are here, uh, they are they are also doing their battle
Ma'am, I would
so
like to share one thing.
efficiently. Yes.
Ma'am, one of my nurses is working there since start of the pandemic, and she's still working there. And she's so happy and so playful. And she puts the confidence into me. She's saying, "You don't worry, because I'm worried for she being a single mother. I'm worried for her safety and her family's safety." But she's saying, "No, no worry. She's a senior ICU nurse who is in charge of that isolation area. She is wonderful and is committed and determined to work there to ensure that none of the care is missed out for the pediatric patients and their family." That's really wonderful. Her name is Anita. I would like to share that with you all.
Thank you. Convey our gratitude and
Please.
salute to Anita. Please do that.
Yes. Thank you. Wonderful. And I think what we've shared just, takes me to this. Yeah, was somebody saying something? Please go ahead.
I think, Nirupama, I think I would request you, it's 9:04. I'm very sure we can actually continue, but I think we have a time limit. So please, you can wrap up, and then I will say thank you to the team also.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is my wrap up. And I said I was going to wrap up, and I said what we just discussed connects to what I'm just sharing now, finding gratitude and appreciation, which is what we just did. When she mentioned Anita, this is exactly what it is. We are finding gratitude and appreciation around us. And people who take the time to list the things they are grateful for are happier and healthier. So that is what I'd like to leave you with. So thank you all so much for being here. And for doing whatever it is that you're doing in the best possible way that you can. So I'm really happy to have this session, and I hope some of the things that you heard were useful. I hope this was a good break from your schedule to learn from each other as well. So thank you so much. And this is a interesting quotation I'd like to share, which is, from Maya Angelou: "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it." I think, and I hope that we will all find that we have been enhanced in some way or the other, despite all the downside by this experience. So thank you so much. And, just a little bit in case you want more resources, that's our website, Glow for All, and you can reach out to me for anything, Twitter, email, and Thankam has my contacts. And love to get any comments, takeaways, or feedback. You can put that in the chat box, and that will be helpful. So wish you all the very best, and God bless all of you for the wonderful work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nirupama. Thanks a ton. And thank you. Thank you is not enough. At least personally, I revisited few things that I started and I dropped it along the way. I think I need to pick it up again, some habits which I started last year. And so now I am going to pick them up again. And I'm very, very happy, and I feel fortunate and blessed that I could arrange this session only because you were willing to come to the session. So really, God bless you, Nirupama, for sparing this time for the nurses, and maybe there are no nursing people also here. But the tools that you discussed is applicable to every human being, not just nurses. And thanks to all those nurses who have shared their, techniques and, their thought process. So every single thing that you shared made this session hugely rich. So thank you very much, all of you, and look forward. I have promised that this Nurses Month, May 12th to June 12th, is Cygnia Healthcare's Nurses Month. So we are hoping to bring 3 more sessions, maybe of different nature, not exactly a resilience building technique, maybe something else. So we will bring something interesting. So watch out, and we will meet again so that you can come here and chill a little bit and feel grateful and feel happy amidst all the stress that you people are experiencing every day. Once again, salute to all of you, and thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, and thanks a ton, Nirupama, for this.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
maybe
very
if you
much.
stop sharing, we will see if I can get a screenshot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Those who are willing to come on the video, you can come.
Yes. With a
I'm
smile.
going to take a
Yeah.
screenshot. Yeah. So we are going to do like this and say, yes, we are. So before you go, I have something little to share, is to say that हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब हर दिन।
Oh, yeah, good one.
दिन नहीं है, हर दिन। ओ मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब हर दिन। Yes,
Lovely.
हम होंगे कामयाब हर दिन। Yes,
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
so let's take the photo. हम होंगे कामयाब तो स्माइल लेके आएंगे ना आप इधर स्क्रीन पे, तब फोटो लेंगे, फिर हम इसको फेसबुक में डालेंगे, so you can go and see there. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Look at the camera and say cheese. And my fingers are busy pressing, so your fingers are not busy, so you can raise it up. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Wow. I really love all those smiling faces. God bless all of
God
you,
bless you
and
all.
take care and stay safe and take care of your personal families and professional families both. Yes. And thank you once again, Nirupama. God bless
Thank you.
you. You too
Thank you
stay
so
safe
much.
and take care. Thank you
I
very
had
much,
fun.
and bye-bye, everyone.
Bye all. All the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.